Hey there, Jim. Looks like you're the first on the night call. Oof, that's a lot of dust. Uh, these are very, very old setups. This is like 2005, 2007 kind of era, so 14 odd years old. Anyway, I'm kind of hoping I've got some 7805s lurking around in here. Hey, Ethan, hey, Andrew. People who know parts well will recognize the age of a lot of these. I think the PMV 31XNs were the peak SOT32 MOSFET that I could get at that time. And they are actually a good MOSFET. What else have I got here? The 337 and the 338s were also very thing, but again, yeah, they were good for the time. Probably well and truly superseded by now. PSM 3NRO, IRF 7805. Some of these are just awful. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to find some actual 7805 regulators amongst this. All the various values that I used. Diodes. The parts will still be all pretty good. Here we go. Oh, 7805 LDOs. Oh wait, LDO, that's no good. I don't want LDO, I want... See now, the problem's going to be... Yeah... I don't know if these are going to work. These are ST1, so I'm going to have to check the data sheet. Because even... The fact that it says 7805 LDO... The LDO part makes me think, nope, that's not going to be what I'm after. Let's see, orange 805s, yellow, green 805s. Hey, that's what I was looking for the other night. I might take these out. Red 805, green 805, 250 millicandelier. Okay, that's pretty bright. Still, you can always just put a nice big resistor in the way and... some of those popped open. That's no good. What have we got here? Crazy values are 1K87, 3K74. All these obscure values, they were for when I was doing single cell lithium battery chargers, and these values are basically doubles of each other. Yeah, so you could do a binary, 4-bit binary selector, so you have 16 different charge rates. Anyway, let's jam this back in here like Lego. Where did I put that 7805s? What you do, you numpsky? Where did I put those? Ah, there. Hey, Drutchevan? Yes, the live stream. Okay. So I have to check the data sheet on those 7805s. Actually, I have a horrible feeling they're not actually going to be any good for my application. I have a feeling they're going to be sort of like max out at 16 volts or something like that. But we'll see. First I've got to actually have a look and see what it is. Because in this particular case, I actually don't need low dropout. I need pretty much the opposite. Yeah, okay, these are not 7805s. I don't know why I've got 7805 written on there. These are LF50As. They're definitely not going to cope, I don't think. ST LF50A. And great, the switcher's dead. What is killing the switcher? I cannot work out what's killing the switcher at the moment. It's gotten to the point now where I might simply design a whole board that incorporates the compass switch and the bridge all in one and just get it over and done with rather than having this kludged prototype thing I've got going. Hey there, John L. Because it's very frustrating, particularly if you're recording video and you forget that your switcher is not functioning. You can lose a lot of good work. Okay, LF50 ST regulator. Hey Bunty. Let's see. Well, we'll try this one. Hello, James. Welcome. See what the data sheet has to say. Very low dropout. No, that's no good. Deepak. Let's see. They don't spec the maximum input up there. Oh, alright, okay. Up to 40 volts. Alright, I think we'll give one of them a go then. Too bad I've actually ordered 100 of the others. But we'll have a shot, see if that works. Actually, what I can do is find another ring light and just rig it up. I've probably thrown all my prototypes into the trash. That would be very normal for me to do that. So I guess we'll take a gamble and just build one outright. The only thing I have to check is see whether this actually has a must-have capacitance. Schematics. Okay, so it looks like it wants 100 nanofarad on the input and 2 on the output. Oh, that's fine. We can put the 2 on the output. I mean, we're already doing that. The other ones I was using didn't actually strictly require capacitors. Hey there, Paul Hal. Having a poor day. I'm sorry to hear that, Paul. You been dragged through treatment, or is it just a... I shouldn't say just, but is it a day that is beating you? And obviously if you don't feel like telling anything, that's fine too. Let's see if this paste has any viability left in it. Yeah, we can still use that paste. It's a little bit sludgy, but we can get away with it on this board. Now I put that leaded paste on there, that's no good. And if this does work out and actually operate, hopefully without blowing up, according to the data sheet, it should handle 40 volts, which funnily enough is actually a lot more than what the other one is. What's going on here? Hey Teresa, hey Warren. I'm just measuring out my LEDs again. This is okay. I wonder if this tape will do any better holding down. This tape probably won't even stick to the silicon mat. I do need to look at something that I can use to hold those strips down while I take the parts out. I don't want to have something where I have to sequentially like progress it forward with a tap or anything like that. It just needs to be something that holds the backside of the tape. Like so. If this stuff didn't curl up when you know, like you can see it's already curling. If it didn't curl up, then we wouldn't need this, but it does curl. So I have to find a way to hold it down straight, otherwise all those parts are just going to come flying off. Okay, let's get the vacuum pump up and running. Hey, Messiah. Alright, let's get some pick and place action going. Ah, that's interesting. This tape may be a little bit too sticky, and it's actually coming through the hole of the component tape. Okay, maybe it was just one bad one. Okay, that's that. Yeah, Beeblet, it does the job very well. I'm quite happy with it. I'm supposed to have 2.2 on the output. I can just put a pair of ones on the output. 100 nano on the input. throw the 100 nanofarads all over the place like you don't care. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Don't very often have them bounce and land like that on the edge. That's basically the least likely stable edge. Beyond that, you've got to go to the unstable edges like corners. Okay, DC jack and navigator switch. Hey, Quicksilver Australia. So, and your channel, love your work. Oh, thank you very much, Quicksilver. Where in Australia are you? Say, given that you got Quicksilver as your name, it kind of makes me think you're either near Bondi or Gold Coast. I'm probably wrong on both accounts, but anyway. Brisbane. Oh, okay, so we'll say Gold Coast. Bris Vegas. Whereabouts in Brizzy? I used to live in Carindale and Browns Plains. Spent most of my time up in the Sunshine Coast more than anything else, doing service work up at Mullaney, which was great. Loved Mullaney. Was always riding the motorbike around. Let's see. Like I said, this is not the technically correct way of doing this, but it works. Oh, you're in Redlands. Okay, yeah, I know where Redlands is. Redlands wasn't really developed much at the time I was down there, which was back in like mid-90s, early 90s. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to see if our regulator here is actually going to do the job for us, because it'd be good to use up those parts. Like I said, I've got a lot of different regulators. That's got to be 30 or 40 in there. The 117 style ones I can't use because they have a different pinout. What's the road like between Brisbane and Gold Coast now? Is it just basically one continuous city strip? And now even Logan doesn't really stand out at all? Because it used to be you could drive down to the Gold Coast or Southport and you'd go through Logan as kind of like your stopover. That and Yatala Pies. Yeah, Yatala was the other one. 4-laned up, jeez. Things do change. Can't stop the progress. Can't stop the signal now. Okay, we're only up to 150 at the moment, but it will start. It's 160 soon. Yeah, it's starting to smoke now, so that's the flux coming off. And it's going to reflow. Yep. Why does Australia Post take packages on tour around Queensland? Oh, who knows? They're absolute nightmares sometimes. Sadly, Australia Post these days has come back to being the best of the worst, with a lot of the other carriers dropping the ball too badly too often again, particularly out here. Alright, so we're just letting that smoke off. I've got to find my transfer board. Very technical stuff, this. It's frightening when packages can come from China, get to your doorstep faster than they can from, say, Brisbane or Sydney or anywhere like that. It's just like, it's an embarrassment. So those pads are still going to be actually liquid, but that's okay. We're not dealing with any BGAs, so it's not going to be super critical. In some ways, having it shaken around a little bit probably helps it. If I identify as a cat, can I come live in your kitty reservation? Oh dear. That kitty house, as lovely as it is not very big at all. Plus, there's about 3 or 4 other people who have earlier reservations, I'm sorry. Yeah, I would have thought your package would be in here already with the switch, but clearly not. You tried, yes. It's still pretty hot, but at least it has actually re-solidified. I definitely think I'm going to set up the pardon me, whoops. Definitely think I'm going to have to redo the microscope switcher. There's no reason really for it to have suddenly started behaving like this other than that there's a failure somewhere in there. This is actually pretty good. There's very little balling out. I mean, there's a little bit over there, but overall it's pretty good. Alright, we've got this problem again where it didn't draw itself over, so we're going to have to put that back on the heat and a little bit of flux and pop that over. That's annoying. I think I'm going to have to get to the point where after I've placed the parts, I really need to inspect this particular part under the microscope and give it a little bit of a tweak if it needs to. Gotta be careful not to touch that too. It's probably hot enough that it almost could reflow just sitting there again. Okay. Hey Greg. Let's see how close we can get here. Yeah, we're up to temperature. Just gonna put that in the cooler. Quicksilver, certainly for using these aluminium boards, I'm finding the hot plate is a superior solution, although it can bring them up to temperature a little bit too quick, so the parts can end up being a bit cold. Alright, so that's sitting much better now. And you can't see because the auto switch is not on. And you still can't see because the camera forgets its settings every freaking time. If it wasn't so expensive, I would happily actually pull this camera apart, find out what on earth they've got going for their, their firmware management controller or whatever, and fix it up. Because that's a really bad bug to have. It's a very frustrating bug to have. Like, you set it up, and then every time you restart, it's like, I have no memory of your settings. Yet, funnily enough, it actually does, because if you go into the settings window, you can see what you set it there, but it doesn't actually seem to apply it for some reason on startup. I have noticed though, sometimes, and this may be a way out, sometimes when I go into Open Broadcaster and click on properties, it will then spontaneously activate the settings. So maybe I need to create a program that sends a properties query to the camera, and then it will bring the settings out. I don't know, it's actually something I should try. It would save me having to buy another camera. Because if in its default settings, the camera is just too dark. Even with the good lighting that I have, it's just a smidge too dark. Alright. We've got our programmer here. I don't know what port this is on. I should really put an FT232 on that one, an actual FT brand, so that I can guarantee to always have the programmer on a port that I know is going to be there. Because at the moment it's got a CH340G chip on that, and these ones have got the other things I've got a CH340Ns. It's a big fat CH340 mess. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's flashed. Let's see, get our power brick. Let's see if it blows up or not. Nothing. Is it plugged in? It is indeed plugged in. Alrighty, so maybe the regulator isn't. The other possibility is that the pinouts are wrong. I didn't think about that. So this is a D-pack. D-pack, input, output, yeah, those inputs, yeah, the pins are right. Um, I will admit I'm a little bit apprehensive to let it run simply because of the smoke effect, as in catching a light. But we've got to do these things. I'm scared of. I'll put the extractor on. Okay, first thing we'll do is make sure we do actually have voltage. 24, yep. "24 in, nothing out." No, that's kind of weird. Nothing out. Yeah, and the only thing of is, are these the adjustable versions? I doubt it'd be a faulty V-Reg. That's kind of like the last of my possibles. Given that it's LF50A, I would have thought that would be 5 volt. Just make sure it's not shorted to ground. That's not. That's not. No, there's no short to ground. I'm just not getting any voltage out of it. Weird. Wonder if it's got a limit on its. That makes no sense. Let's see. DC input voltage 40. Wonder what the note for V input between 1840. Oh, here we go. Didn't see that. So if the input voltage is between 18, or basically above 18 volts up to 40, it shuts the regulator down. No. So so what's going on here is that, yeah, it will tolerate 40 volts, but it won't actually regulate from 40 volts down. It peaks out at 18. Should have known. And I suppose that's to be expected because it does say absolute maximum ratings as opposed to standard ratings. But they kind of didn't really give me sort of. Let's see. Yeah, they don't really give you that 18 volt limit up here. It's only in the footnote that you see that it's 18 volt peak. Oh, here we go. Oh, right, okay. It's in the standard electrical characteristics. I need to go to the next table. 16 volts. Well. Yeah. So yeah, it will tolerate 40, but it will keep it shut down. Not a worry. Well, that was pointlessly fun. I had a feeling it was too good to be true that I would have had a stock of these. This is old stock, very old stock. It's probably about 10 years old now, at least. I'm just going to see if I did happen to, by pure luck, have some more 7805s here. So I've got hundreds of the parts coming, I just don't have any here. And to be fair, standard 7805, like the actual robust one that I am supposed to be using, it's not really that common a part for you to stock just as a general purpose part anymore, because for the most part it's been supplanted by vastly many other better regulator. Not so much for that. I'm tempted to go up to the shed, but it's dark and it's late, because I know I did buy a reel, but I think there'll be LDOs as well. I had an actual, like, it looks like a movie theatre reel of 7805s, but I think they were Kia 7805s, like the actual, yeah, the car brand Kia. But I'm pretty sure they were LDOs. 99% sure I don't have any in my regulator box. Let's see, FPC, wires, caps, regulators. Most of the regulators I've got in here are little SOP 23 little jobbies. (1703s), yeah, and you got these would be 1117s or something. Yeah, 1117 3.3 fixed. Something I've never opened up. Regulator buck TSOP 16. These sort of things you're really just better off binning. This is a LM2554. 1703s. 4940s, now they're big chunky, they're D2 packs. That's for when you want to deal with 3 amps in linear. Precision references. 6 volt. Okay. Ah, this is ancient. 5 volt charge pump, SOT 23. This is ancient because this company doesn't even exist anymore for shipping. SP 1080, yeah, they're not 7805s. What have we got here? 1117. See, I moved over more to the 1117s, mostly because I was able to get a large supply of them from overseas. These are 3.3 ones. Obviously these, oh my god, they're tiny things. Precision power references. This is for when I was doing, making my own meters. LF33, so that's basically the same as the LF50s. Negative regulator. No. More 1117s. That would be the AliExpress type thing before AliExpress showed up. And so I'm not even sure what they are. Again, throw them out. MPC 1702s. 1702. Ooh, these fancy things. These are high grade, very high grade voltage references. And I've got quite a lot of them. So what was this? 2.5, 4, so they're like 4.096 volts. Which is actually a very handy voltage. 1117s. What are you? 1764. Linear makes some very nice chips, very sort of compact solutions, but the downside of Linear is they tend to be quite expensive, which is fine if you've got a customer that's willing to pay, but if you don't, it's not. What is these? LM, yeah, no good anyway. Oh, here we go. These are the Kia ones, 3.3. Ah, yeah. But these are 3.3s. But yeah, like I said, it seems the car company, it seems. Alright. I'm gonna have to accept the fact that I don't have any more 7.8. I'll check the big box. But certainly there's none in here. And like I said, I'm not overly surprised. That stuff's just gonna stay there and rot. Oops. Screws. There's another thing I'm waiting on. Waiting on more screws. Waiting on more of those brass inserts. I'm really excited to get the plastic screw, the plastic self tappers. Oh, here we go. Here's one option. Yeah, these have all been stripped anyway. That one hasn't. Sort of like a junk box, that bit. Nope. 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 Alright. I'm just gonna have to make some more USB-C meters. That's fine. You know, I sold 7/8s. Yeah, I can put them on tomorrow. It just would have been nice to. Like I said, I will have to reheat the board, take it off, put a new one on. Yeah. Shame I didn't read the data sheet just a little bit further. Would have saved me the drama. Okay, this here is for the USB-C meter. Just put that one back in there. No, well, sometimes you just gotta try your luck and fail. Fail horribly. I gotta sneeze, sorry folks. Right, hopefully you all lived through that trauma. Right, USB-C. Geez, 23, 20, okay, I'm just going to get 2 of these done. That's basically all I can jam in before my brain is going to drop out. Speaking of which, last night I did not sleep. I did not sleep at all. That just couldn't. And Milo came in, tried to help me. He just put his head against mine, slept on my pillow with me. It didn't really help one bit, but it was cute. At least he was trying. Yeah. I think I'm just getting a little bit apprehensive about the fact that too many things are taking too long to get here. And I don't want to start ticking off people. This is the, how could you say, isn't it the inaugural? Or, well, anyway, this is the return to doing manufacturing, and right out of the gate I've already run into the biggest kind of first issue you tend to run into, and that is supplier issues. I do still do the MacBook repairs. That is still very much a normal thing for me to be doing each day. I just don't get many of them at the moment. It's sort of going through a bit of a lull. Trust me, it's not a willing, chosen lull. I'd rather be fixing up a couple of cat faults each day. Hey Shad, thank you very much for that. Yes, good old coffee. Yum yum yum. It sounded like I was a cat there. Meow meow meow. It was actually yum yum yum. Meow meow. Jim Allen, what on earth could I make for you? I don't think there's much that I would be any good at. More specifically, that I would know what I'm doing. It's a fine way to make a crappy product is to not actually understand the market that you're making for. Hey there, Andre. Okay, where's my suction tool? Guess we'll zoom in and get a bit more in your face. Where's my staging plate? I don't know why I always forget to put my staging plate on. No, that's not a staging plate, that's a trashy plate. Staging plate for me is just, it's another circuit board that I can just drop the parts onto to bounce them around so I can get the orientation I want. If I try bouncing them onto the silicon mat, it doesn't work. The silicon mat just has this property where it will basically just stick the part there. Well, that's way off full. Would you like to readjust that, please? I mean, sure, the reflow will fix up a lot of that, but even the reflow has limits. Of all the components, I would say the SOT23s, these little things here, are the ones I find most irritating when it comes to pick and place like this. They have a strong tendency to not to have a very low, I should rather say they have a very low tendency to flip over into the orientation that you need. They really like to be on their backs. If you've got a reasonable setup, you can end up being slightly better than most cheap pick and place machines in terms of placements per hour. Of course, the downside is that those placement machines will basically keep going 24/7, whereas you will not. And they will be more accurate in their placement. But short-term pick and placing, you have a reasonable chance of outpacing them. I can't really go anything lower than 603s, unfortunately, with this particular nozzle. If I want to go to 402 parts on the resistors and things like that, I really do need to drop down another gauge. But then the trouble is, if I drop down a gauge, then all of a sudden I can't pick up most of the other parts. So for manual pick and placing like this, 603 is sort of like your lower limit. Unless you're going to have multiple suction tips or stuff like that. It seems to me like there's so much space on these boards, it doesn't hurt to just stick with 603. Let's see. Connectors. That's it. Oh, Andre, no, I mean, that's fine. It's always good to try out or watch other people. I watch my mate Vince a fair bit. It's always fun to see the repairs sort of thing, you know, see repairs from a different perspective. It was quite nice to see that he fixed up his Rolls-Royce Silver 1988 one. It was particularly interesting for the fact that, you know, that's not really his thing, you know, doing mechanical work like that. So you're watching someone, even though it took, I think it was about 2 years it has been, but he got there, it passed the inspection without any suggestions or recommendations or anything like that. It was just like, yeah, you passed, you're good to go. Getting low on those too. Fortunately, I've got a box of 100 coming along with a box of 100 LCDs. Now for these boards I do need to push the temperature up a little bit. Wow, that's still fairly warm. These are definitely better off going into the oven, but like I said, on live streams or under video capture, I'm not going to put it in the oven. Now let's see. Okay. For these ones I do 215, 220. For the aluminium boards I only do 185. B-Blood, oh yeah, I haven't seen your video, but modern day pick and place machines are just amazing to watch. Greg, has yours been shipped off? I think either yours was shipped or was the next one to ship. I'm trying to think. Yes, it has. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to email everybody else and say, due to, funnily enough, non-component shortages for the USB meters, the two things that I don't have enough of is the heat shrink wrap that goes around it and the USB mini leads. The mini leads might get here tomorrow, but then I still don't have the heat shrink. Oh crap, I forgot the LEDs. I knew I was forgetting something. That's okay. At least this being fiber board, yeah, normal circuit board, I can just reflow them on. Oh, actually, what am I doing turning that off for? The connectors haven't even reflowed yet. The downside of the hot plate is, of course, that you do have quite a lot of uneven heating. And that's compounded by the fact that I have the exhaust extractor behind it, so it's drawing cool air constantly over it. Like way up here, we're just starting to reflow now. Meanwhile, all down here is getting cooked. Alright, now I can turn off. Looks like it's just waiting on to hit the air carrier. Is that out of Australia, or I'm guessing that's out of Australia. It's kind of slow, but I did look at using a technically speaking faster service, but in the tests that I did, the sending parts out to other people, the express services took up to 2 weeks at best, whereas the standard service was anything between 1 week and 10 days. So you're definitely paying for what you weren't getting, especially considering that the express service was in the region of, with the US dollars, around about another $10 US at least. It just wasn't worth it. Alright, so they're down in Brizzy. Okay. Okay, we're just going to dab a teeny tiny amount of flux onto that. And then hit it with the hot air. Very limited hot air. Like 30% air. Really don't need a lot. Kind of helps if it's on. That reflow the back. Okay. Do the same for this one. Ah, sorry folks. Yeah, I think after this stream, when I wind down tonight, I think I'm gonna start designing a merged compass switch system. Those ones are okay. They're definitely not. I'll just flash them to see that they come up alright. And then I'm done for the night. Living dangerously. No bias on the... No mechanical bias, I should say. Keying on there. Okay. Those red LEDs are very low output, which is good. You can just see it there below my thumb. Anyway, that's those two. And they will have to be, like I said, I have to fill in the USB-C mechanical mounts, and then I will have to touch up those data and CC lines, although the data lines don't really matter. With these, the data lines are actually disconnected. You can reconnect them if you want, but I deliberately have left them disconnected. Just go to the microscope. Do you stencil for your solder paste? Yes, I do. You can view the video earlier and you'll see it. Yeah, so these are the data lines, and as you can see, they've got, you can put 0 ohm resistors there or jumper them or whatever. but they're disconnected. And this up here is for something else entirely. Don't worry about that. Never you mind about that. At least the sensor flowed down quite nicely. What about this one? And again, the sensor's down fine on that one. That's good. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, you can either 0 ohm them. They're 201s. You can either 0 ohm them or blob them. But I can't think of too many situations where you're going to need the data lines going through on the USB-C ports. So it just offers a little bit of protection against something going horribly wrong with your cable or the device under test, or maybe even your power brick. Something goes wrong with your power brick. You don't want to be sending 20 volts down those data lines by accident. So just a bit of safety improvement. Alright then, I'm out of here. Hopefully tomorrow we have a bit of good news. It will be absolutely delightful if I get both the USB mini cables and the heat shrink concurrent. That would be fantastic. Then I can get all the orders out. In the meantime, the only orders I can ship out are the ones of just simply the microscope meters and nothing else. But if it's got a USB-C meter in it, unfortunately, yeah, they're stalling the dispatch. Sorry about that. Alright, listen, you all take care. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you all in the next stream, whenever that may be. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. You all take care. See you next time.